Om. Hari Om, everyone. Good evening. Nice to see you all here. I was thinking about our Loving Earth community and how long we've been together. We used to be called Prithvi Seva Sangha, and now we are Loving Earth, but this is our third year, and we've already completed 8 months of 2024. It's really amazing how much we've been able to share and learn from each other. Um, the nice thing is that we're not only able to do this once a month because we have our WhatsApp group. And my guess is everyone here, I think I already did a little bit of a poll, that everyone here is in our WhatsApp group already. If there isn't anybody here that's not in the Loving Earth WhatsApp group, let us know, and we'll share that information and how to join. But through that conversation, up until like recently, leading up to today's workshop, we've had several people share about how they've been celebrating. Most recently, Janamashtami, we saw, I believe it was Sapna who shared her Bhagwan Krishna and the swing and what she used to do that. And then Zui was thinking really deeply about how to celebrate Ganesha Chaturthi with the kids and kind of think about infusing more meaning and at the same time, showing how we can love Earth better through our celebrations. So perfect timing in terms of this workshop is, we have a lot of festivals coming up this latter part of the year. And why not? Why not talk more about how we can do better in terms of aligning even our outward celebration and, aligning that with our inward bhava of loving Earth and what those festivals actually mean in terms of just using what we have and creating less waste. So we have heard from so many speakers within our community. I shouldn't even say speakers, seekers within our community. And really, we haven't run out of topics because really this is a lifestyle. So our lifestyle is filled with so many different ways in which we do things that there really isn't an end to how much we can talk about this. So today, I'm very grateful to Ushaji from Connecticut and Rupa from New Jersey, who are going to take us through their journey of how they've celebrated and then changed over the years in terms of, again, that not only celebrating in the decor, but also in how they've given and maybe even stopped giving. So I'd like to ask Ushaji to get us started, and then we'll hear from Rupa. Hari Om, Ushaji.
Hari Om, Neetpita-ji, and Hari Om, everybody. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to share how we are celebrating all the festivals at home and how we are moving towards making it more eco-friendly and sustainable. And this is all my journey, how I did it. And I request now, Neeruji, you can share the slides now. So as we were talking about this topic is how I am celebrating my festivals. One of the things the three questions that came to me are, why are festivals important to me? And what made me want to make it eco-friendly? And what did I do over the years? And to start with, why festivals are important. Niriji, you can go to the next. From my point of view, the festivals are important because one is a change from our daily routine. And every day we may do things, but when we do it for a special day for Bhagavan, it adds a special joy in our hearts, and we make it really, we feel that happiness in us. For example, you may light a diya every day, but when we do it for Krishna or Ganesha or somebody on their special day, it's a little special. And secondly, it also, we all come together. We celebrate sometimes together and share that joy. I remember growing up when there was festivals, whatever we offer to Bhagavan, we also share with our neighbors, whether it's a fruit or a kheer or whatever we make and we offer. So, and we share that joy with everybody. And the third point I was thinking was, okay, I grew up in India, so I know how it was very nice whenever festivals, we are all excited to be part of, to celebrate those festivals. But my daughter Hamza is growing here. So how do I expose her to the same joy that I experienced when I was growing up back in India? And thinking of all these festivals, then for us in our home, Navaratri is very special because it's like the whole, all the three of us come together to come up with ideas that we can set up, how we can set up the Golu and share that joy with all our friends. So today, my intention is to talk about how we celebrate Navaratri, setting up the Golu, because we grow up from South. I am from South, so that tradition I would like to, I was bringing up, I want to bring it to Hamsa and follow it here. And we all enjoy doing it. So my focus today is how I celebrated Navaratri in an eco-friendly way. Niriji, next slide. Then the next question is, what made me want to make it eco-friendly? Again, thinking back over the years, when I first started, it was very few, when maybe I was the only one to start with, then I had a few friends. And the tradition here is, along with the tambulam, we used to give something in the tambulam bag. Then when my friend circle expanded, I have to visit many people and they visit. It was very fun talking to visiting people, they set up and then also share singing, chanting, all that. But when after some time, when I saw all the things I have collected, because it was coming in the tambulam bags, I felt, wow, I have collected so much item in our home through this Navaratri. And do I need them? I may use them because it's given by my friends, but do I need them? Or how can I make use of that money, whatever we are resources, to something for a better cause, for people who really need it? This thought process was going through in my head. And I said, you know what, maybe I should stop giving anything in my tambulam gift as a material gift, and then maybe share that idea with our friends. And also we started, so these are all the thoughts going. What did exactly we do? Niriji, you can go to the next one. So our first thinking was, okay, let's stop giving the tambulam gifts. Because if we practice, then only we can expect others to do. So we stopped adding anything material in our bag, and we were just giving some snacks, a fruit in a brown bag, not even in the fancy bags anymore. And then I also politely told my friends, please give me just a fruit and a haldi kumkum, and I don't need any bag or anything. And I'm really grateful because most of all the friends, they respected what I told them. I don't want to collect anything. And they they said, okay, that's fine. So that was first thing I thought, maybe this is one of the ways to stop collecting items that we don't need, and also that money goes to somewhere else, where whatever charity we decide each year, it was donated to them. And another thing, I'm going to share some of the pictures from our over the years and what we did and explain. And for the Haldi Kumkum packets, sometimes people share, we can buy from stores, and It could be plastic, it could be anything. There were years where we really wanted to make ourselves. And the three of us actually like to work together to come up with ideas and do things. And every year we also change how we set up our Navaratri Golu. So these are all some of the items we did. For example, one year it was like a handbag made of paper. And one side we put haldi, the other side was kumkum. And if people can, and they're very small in an aluminum foil, we basically wrap a little bit of kumkum and haldi. And this one year, we set up a circus as our one of our display. So we made the haldi kumkum packets as a circus tent, and then made them give it to people. These are all from paper, like these are wrapping papers that we had at home, toothpicks we had at home. So it's nothing like extra anything we bought. It's only stuff we had at home. We made all these. And this is also like a toothpick and a paper. Nirji, next slide. Adding and to some more what we did from items at home. For one of our decorations, we want to set up an Indian temple festival celebrations. So we needed a temple, and we don't have any temple as a doll or anything. We had a cardboard box, some packaged box, and painted that with red and white, like a temple wall in South India. And we had a picture of a tower and temple tower, and made this temple ourselves. And the Devi you see here, except her face, everything is from home. Her hands are made of some clay, and it was attached with the toilet paper roll. Like Sapna did, I also did this for Devi. And the way she's standing is inside all stainless steel containers. They are kind of stacked and attached together. And she's our special Devi because it came out pretty well for us. Niriji, the next one. And this, I saw this in one of the messages from maybe from WhatsApp, I saw. So we did a Ganesha using the cookies we had at home. And one year it was a Native American village setting we did. And for that, the background was done by Hamsa because they usually had like mountains and stuff. And the trees that you see here, they are all made of paper. That the green color paper we had at home, just cut and attach them together to let them stand. And Nirji, the next one. And during COVID, we had also a little fun doing this. Every doll had masks in them. And these masks were made of a cloth that we had at home, handmade with paper. So even like this is supposed to be an open air concert because that time that was allowed. So even all the bears have tiniest to the biggest had masks. And it was election year, so we had the voting and everybody was standing to vote. They all had their masks on. These masks were made of the cloth. Incidentally, the cloth I bought to make a pencil and pen holder using a can, like a bean can, canned beans can. So that cloth was still with me. So we used that for making all these masks. And not only we also kept them all. For example, the temple that we did for 1 year as a temple festival, in another year, we had like all the Indian festivals celebrating India. The temples have to be there. India has lots of temples. And the same way, the picture that the Hamsa drew for the Native American village what came in handy when we set up like an earth, how it has many ecosystems, types of plants, animals, people. So this described the mountains, and we had different settings, ocean, desert, polar region, everything in it. And you may also see different colors. These are all different felt fabrics that we bought to show different landscape. And this, I have multiple colors. These have been used for more than 15 or 20 years. And just after this, it will go, we pack them. So it's not, I don't need to like worry about sand or anything spilling on the carpet. We used to have carpet before, anything. And it's clean and easy to handle also. And it's been used for years. Then these, so in orderly, we use stuff we had. We also repurposed the same because we did not throw them out after we made them. And 1 year, I thought that we inserted a message saying that every day we are touching a Devi who is Mother Earth, and give the people some actions they can take on a daily basis to protect her. This was an insert in the brown bag that we gave. And we also told them, after reading this, please recycle the paper and the brown bag. And Niriji, the last one. And so the other things like we are looking in, where we have started doing is stop using Ziploc bags. We used to pack all the snacks in Ziploc bags before. Now we are using paper. As much as possible, we stopped using Ziploc bags in the last couple of years. And the last 2 points, we have been doing with our friends for a long time. We have lots of friends who set up this golu here. So when people live close by, we stagger the visiting time for all the others. So people can come one to the other and go, so rather than making multiple trips to the same area. This actually helps reducing the time they spend and also the carbon emission the cars have to go exhaust. And there are times we all carpool. If it works out for people, we carpool to visit each other. So instead of 2 cars or 3 cars going in, there will be 1 car will be visiting all the people. That also helps us in a way that protects the earth with reducing the carbon emission. So these are some of the things we did over the years from our end. And we as a family also like to make sure that we reduce any waste. And this is, so that way we help the Mother Earth. And so I thought I will share some of these with the pictures that we did. And I want to leave you all with the quote from Gurudev. Nirji, the next one. That says aptly, knowing is not doing, doing is doing, which I feel like I should be doing more than what I'm doing right now. But this is some few things that I have done so far and I'm sharing with you. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And I would like to learn from others what else you all did. Thank you.
Thank you, Ushaji. That was wonderful. So much for us to learn from you, actually. So thank you so much. I'd like to now ask Rupa to share her journey and her creativity with us. Hari Om, Rupa.
Hari Om. Can you see the screen okay? And can you hear? Yeah. Hari Om, everybody. Before we go through my presentation, I just want to hear from those of you who have, born in India and who have been in India and grew up in India, how you were celebrating back home. And I'd like to share, coming from Mumbai, for us, Ganesh Chaturthi is a big deal. Of course, all festivals are celebrated, and I just wanted everybody to share in the chat what's your favorite memory celebrating a festival in India, and anything, if you celebrate it here, what is your favorite part of celebrating a festival? Please share. Food, yeah. Krishna Jayanti, drawing those Krishna feet with rice flour mix, yeah, all the way through the house. Yes. Walking in the Wari. Oh, okay, the Nawari, yeah. Rangoli with rice flour, eating all the lovely mithai, making modaks. Colorful clothes during Durga Puja in Calcutta, getting together with friends and relatives, Garba dancing. Yeah. Hari Om, everybody. Thank you so much for this opportunity to present celebrating festivals sustainably. For me, some of the favorite memories, especially from Ganesh Chaturthi, is going around Mumbai, all across Mumbai, going and looking at all the big Ganeshas with the various decorations. There's always a theme. There's famous Ganpatis in Mumbai, in Lal Bagh and Dukes and a lot of these places. And it's just a treat to stand in those lines and actually go and see them and see all the decorations and the themes every year. For Janmashtami, it's definitely the Uriadi, which is, people climbing on each other and breaking the pot. So in each of the towns, at least you would find on the street, people from one building to another, they will tie the string, the rope, and then they will put these pots up, and people will be there'll be a competition to break the pots, and it's a lot of fun just watching. Navratri, obviously it's the Golu, but most importantly, it was not about just seeing the Golu. As kids, we saw the Golu, yeah, we were more interested in going from house to house and eating the chundal and then deciding whose chundal is the most tastiest. So that's what is my favorite memory. And Diwali, of course, it was a lot of fireworks, but it was the one time in my house when we truly everybody in the family got new clothes. We didn't buy new clothes year round. Diwali was the one time when we all went shopping and got clothes and a lot of new stuff. So those are some of my favorite memories growing up in Mumbai, celebrating the festivals. When I think of why I started celebrating the festivals here in a traditional way, it was pretty much when my daughter was born, Priyanka, when I thought it'll be a nice way to teach her about our culture, traditions through the celebrations and festivals. Not having family over here to celebrate with, because growing up in India, you have friends and family. Somehow you know what's happening. You know which festival is coming up. You don't need to look at the calendar. There's a festival every month, and you know what is made for that festival, what your grandmom does, what is the puja, what is the chant. All of that. And over here, it's really hard not having that family around to be able to celebrate. So pretty much before my daughter was born, it was just going and socially meeting people. But then only after she was born, I thought, okay, we should start keeping Golu. We should do something, do whatever my parents and my in-laws did for the festivals, do that at home. It was a good way to introduce our traditions to her. Then I also feel that within my house, my parents, my mom and my grandma also had this interest in creating things themselves and love to make things. So, and I have that vasana. I like to make things handmade. So I always took the opportunity to try and make something for every festival, whether it's a rangoli or a doll or whatever it is. So, and I wanted to do that. That was one of the reasons I started, keeping a golu and celebrating the festivals. And over the years, it's been also to see how different people celebrate the festival, because coming from South India, yeah, we keep golu, but some people don't keep golu. So how do they celebrate? What do they do? So it's a nice learning experience, and also educating people who are not Indian as to why we celebrate, how we celebrate, and adapting it for the future. I love Ushaji's way of doing the COVID during the COVID years. You know how Ushaji did the golu with the dolls with the masks. That was really nice. And for me, my personal journey has been from just being an extrovert, celebrating the festivals, to more introversion. And that journey, I can see the change over the years in me. So that's what I'm going to take you through. Mostly, I'm going to share pictures of how and what I have done, and you can see how I've been celebrating. So as I said, I've always had a thing for handmade, and I like to make things, artifacts and idols and stuff like that. So on the left, one of the years for one of the, I think Chinmaya Melas, I had learned to make a Ganesha out of clay. And so I made the Ganesha, and then the kids made little Ganeshas and the modaks with clay and decorated it. So this is not a clay Ganesha that we usually do our puja with, but this is a Ganesha we keep in the golu, we keep at home. So this was something we created together. Then another year, we had made a diorama for Sri Krishna, a baby Krishna diorama, again, all with clay and paper mache in the background, making the Krishna doll, painting it, making the lamps, the flowers, and all the items, and also putting a light fixture in. So this was also, it was made for Chinmaya Mission for a mela or something, and then now it became a permanent fixture in the golu. Whenever I wanted to keep it, I would always have this one. The next slide shows my golu over the years. A lot of the dolls that I initially had were all very small size dolls back from my parents' home. That they had, and so I chose to bring those home. And every year, if there's something special that I would add, it would be something that I would try to make. One of the years, the kids had, I think in this picture, they had the backdrop of, they wanted to make the backdrop of New York City. So we just had blocks of wood, painted it, and put it as a backdrop. One of the years, my daughter wanted to decorate the doll and put that in the golu. So we made a sari and did some beadwork on it, and then draped the doll and put that in the backdrop. A lot of the fabrics are all dupattas and table covers that I had already, and I keep reusing it, try to give it a different look and feel every year. Then also one of the years, I think, I don't know if I have the picture there, we had a whole Lego display with my son having a whole car collection and truck collection and all of that. I don't think the pictures here. One year, it was all paper puzzles or artifacts made out of paper and kits. So there was a Taj Mahal and some other buildings that he had made out of paper. So the kids were very involved, and that was a very interesting time when they would like to, put their dolls up, help with the dolls, and do the decorations. One year, I think for one of the weddings, when I went to India, I found a lot of things made out of coconut shell. I think it was from Bangalore. And I learned how to preserve it in rice and keep it. So it's amazing that, that still stays. So I had a whole collection of a wedding doll set made out of coconut. There's a whole musical instrument set made out of coconut. So all these were very cool and interesting things that I had never seen even when I was back home in India. So these are some of my Golu pictures. The next one is apart from just keeping Golu at home, I always try to celebrate at that time. I would all request the school teachers, especially in the elementary grades, when my kids were in the elementary grades, to see if I can come and do a presentation in the school. I have done some things in the library, in the community library. So couple of years, the library gave me their whole display for I think the month of October or November. They said, okay, why don't you showcase the whole, the Indian festivals? They wanted to learn about it. So it was a good opportunity to showcase some of the ways we celebrate. Pretty much it was Navratri and Diwali, and I had little write-ups that could be that, I made some people outside of the Indian community read and see if they could understand. And I had some of the toys and books made in Bal Vihar. Actually, I showcased them. So it was in the kids section. So then they could see how kids would be involved and do that. And then the library started calling me every year to come and showcase Diwali. So another year we made these lanterns, cards. And it was just, it was so nice because people who don't know anything, they love to see the different ways of celebrating that festival. Yeah, they would hear the fireworks in the neighborhood, but it was very nice to see, okay, what's going on? And, what's this mithai? What is all this about? So it was a very nice way to involve the community also. One year, I did a workshop and made lanterns with kids. So it was beyond just doing this at home and inviting people. So I thought that it was a nice way to celebrate the festival. One year, I had made kits to do the Rangoli diyas, and that was something the library wanted to do every year. So we would make kits in the library, and just kids would sign up and come and make these diya rangolis and the coasters and rangoli coasters. So it was a nice way that beyond our community, they could see what we're doing and also, participate. So in terms of gifts, since I love making, gifts and artifacts at home, I always took the opportunity to see if I could do things with paper and things I have at home. So some of the years we made bookmarks, and these are bookmarks that my daughter actually decorated. She was practicing calligraphy. So I said, okay, let's make bookmarks for everybody. We're very much into origami. So one year we made these lotus diyas and put kisses in them. And so the kids could grab them as they went out. One year we did the coasters for everybody who came. Another year I had a whole stash of old CDs that nobody uses. So I thought, let's make tea light holders with the CDs. Of course, not everything is sustainable. Of course, I went out and bought the flowers and stuff, but then I do keep a stash of craft materials because I like to do that so I could use a lot of them over here. Then we also made keychains for the kids with leftover and embroidery yarn. Of course, I had to go out and get the key rings and all that, but everything else I had at home. I had beads and thread. Then bookmarks are a big hit. I love bookmarks. These were we did little Madhubani artwork and put it in bookmarks. And one year we just cut out some Devi pictures and put it in bookmarks. The last one was we made these little origami boxes and put different pictures of icons of gods, and every kid could take one with the Hershey kiss in it. So the kids really enjoyed coming and taking something different, because food, they really don't, I mean, yeah, some of them do like the food, but these are things that are more interesting to them to take back. So it was a lot of fun creating these. Other than that, I don't have pictures, but in one of the years, I had purchased little succulents and put it in small pots, and I gave those as return gifts. Done a lot of handmade books. These are all ideas from Bal Vihar, because I've been teaching little kids. So we've made books about Diwali and Navratri, and just a book on gods, and just stitched those books and gave them as handouts. And one year we had my daughter actually did a word search for kids, for little kids. They would come home, and when the parents are busy talking and eating, the kids would do some activity. So it was a lot of fun for them. Um, so I think for me, the journey has been, yes, there was a lot of socializing and eating and entertaining, but then over the years, especially with COVID, I started doing more of, I used to do some chanting every day. And last year, actually, when my daughter went to college, I didn't keep the big golu. I actually kept a small golu in my puja room, and I did chanting, and I did invite a few family, few women, and had a smaller gathering. But it was more about the purpose and trying to internalize the meaning for me. And I think that's the way I'm taking it forward. And also with entertaining, I also used to try to do all sustainable, the recyclable materials, and that I've been doing over the few years. And but it's a lot of fun getting people together, talking about the festival, learning how other people celebrate, and that joy is something definitely that festivals bring, and that's something I really enjoy. With that, I just thought I'll just put some resources for everybody if they're interested. These are some other things I have made over the years. And I'll just go to the next slide. Yeah. And I'll just hand it over to Rita.
Thank you, Rupa. Thank you so much. So much meaning behind what we do, and as we're learning in the community, here too is understanding why we do what we do, and then tying that to loving Earth. I feel like those aren't separate. So when we're understanding the meaning of what we're doing, I think naturally we will think more intentionally about the items we're using and how much we actually really need to do externally versus internally. So thank you so much. Okay, so now what we'd like to do, it's already listed, so I think everybody can see what we'd like you to do. Just kind of think back to even maybe yesterday or even Janmashtami or last year, about 3 items you've used for decorations and or gifts during any festival. And then next to each of them, if you can write if you think it is sustainable, if it's a sustainable option or not. And I think most of us may get to number 3 where we're not sure or we may say no. So what would like you to do is to ask the audience. So let's use our lifelines, which is right now is each other, and try to find answers to, and maybe alternatives then to it when our answers are no, or if we're not sure. And I'll start in the sense of I'm going to share things that I've received, and I'm not that have been in a box, and I have my box right next to me over the years. And I just recently learned about Golu because growing up we didn't do it, but going to homes and getting these packets with the kumkum and haldi and um, there's so many that I have, and I don't know what to do with them. So it's not that, some of it does get used, but there's just so many of them. So wondering if anyone has options or ideas about what could be done instead. And I think Ushaji may have told us something at one of our meetings. Use them in your own Golu. Yeah. I I don't have a Golu, but yeah, that would work if I start. Neetaji is saying she too has so many. So an alternative could be using the little packets and putting them in the newspaper. So then the newspaper can get either composted or recycled. That's a great idea.
That's one of the reason I decided to stop and just give like the tiny bit of haldi kungum. And here now I'm thinking just give, like when people when they come, give them haldi kungum and then they take it. You don't need to give a packet. That's my
Mm.
goal for this year. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
Anyone else? Anyone else want to share? You can raise your hand, or Rupa, go ahead.
sorry, that's what I was going to say, because I don't have a lot of people, at least my immediate neighborhood, who understand why am I giving the haldi kumkum. So I just offer it to them when they come home, so that because otherwise they just throw it out, so what's the point? So I offer it to them when they come home, and that's it.
Anyone else have maybe some items that you've listed that you want to either share that you think is a sustainable or not, and maybe we can brainstorm together? Feel free to raise your hands virtually. Hariom Deepaji.
So I think what I have learned to say is learning to say no when somebody gives a gift that I'm not going to be using. I have learned to politely say that I don't need it. I just touch it and I say I've accepted it, and probably take a fruit instead, something like that. I also, like Rupaji was mentioning, leave a table of items that I no longer need, no longer use, or like the gifts that have come, and I let the kids pick whatever they want when they leave. So something like that, so that way it's not collecting dust in a corner or somebody's able to use it. Off late, I've started using fabric for decoration, like Rupaji was mentioning, dupattas or saris or even tablecloths or some materials like that. That way, less of plastic. And even if it is plastic, I think once I buy it, I just try to reuse the same thing. I don't buy it again. Just ensure that it stops right there. And with Haldi Kumkum, just what Ushaji and Rupaji were sharing, I do the same. Just offer it to them. No packets needed. And when somebody gives it, I kind of try telling them that that is not necessary, because we really don't use them. I've hardly seen people cut those packets open at all. It's almost goes from one home to another, keep circulating that way. Thank you. Hariom.
Thank you. So I actually have a question about Deepaji, you said when you say no. How hard was that to start saying no to people, or to stop giving gifts? Because I feel like sometimes there's a sense of obligation, or the idea that perhaps the expectation that people have and not meeting that.
Hariom. So yes, Ritaji, it was pretty hard. In fact, some of my friends, when they came home, I went to their house and I said no. They kind of bought their gifts here to like leave it here. It was very, very hard. In fact, last year I was not successful 99% of the time, I would say. They bought the gifts back, and that's when I decided I would leave the gifts on the table for the kids to pick. So they pick whatever they want and they leave with it. This time in advance, I'm trying to tell them that I really don't accept gifts. It's because of this reason. When I support it with a reason, especially with Mata Prithvi, I'm hoping they understand this time. But it's not been that successful. I definitely say no, but there is definitely a push from there.
Anyone else have some thoughts about that? Where they've been successful? Hariom Vinitaji.
Hariom, I was going to say that we have almost close to 250 families that share this, gifting at the Navratri time, Golu time, the Haldi Kumkum and all of that. So one of the older ladies, she decided that she was going to ask everybody whatever money they were spending on the gift. Say, for example, they were spending $5 on the gift. So instead of buying an actual gift, everybody just brought that money in an envelope and they started doing that. And eventually now it's reached a point where they're collecting close to about almost $1,000, if not more. And what they've started doing is like they're educating 2 kids in India. So, I mean, they will exchange a fruit or even the haldi kumkum, they'll just give, like others were saying, you just take out of the dabba and you just put on your forehead or whatever. So nothing is wasted. And some of us, like when I get all this haldi kumkum, like lately we haven't been getting it, but when we get it, when we make those atta diyas for pujas, even in Chinmay Mission, we just put the haldi in there so that, I mean, that's the way we do it in North India. So we just make the diyas, put the haldi in there, and we use it, and then it's done with, then we are not really. So I thought that was very good. And the other thing that these days, we're making a lot of flower decorations for Navratri, and we have a lot of leaves and all growing outside, especially nowadays in the fall, we have lots of leaves. So people are stringing different colored leaves and, making, and also out of fruits. Like they're using the smaller fruits and they'll do different types of decorations instead of just going the traditional way of flowers, because flowers are quite expensive here. And, it's just wasted, whereas fruit and all that is, um, easily done. And I don't know if you'll remember or not, like in North India during Lodi time and even Diwali, they used to give us these garlands made out of dry fruits, like dates and, those dried apricots and other, whatever makhanas and things. And at the bottom, they would hang like a dry coconut. So you get that and then you eat that and you're done with it. You don't have to buy anything from outside. So that's a better way of gifting. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Some
I
great
love that.
ideas from the other ladies.
Yes, yes. And I think Prima was asking about flowers. So I think you answered also her question about with the leaves, just to make them. And Zooey, thank you for sharing about, sort of that the fresh flower industry, I think is not the most sustainable. So maybe the ones that are outside, your own, or being creative with some of these other things. Zooey, was there something else you were going to share about that with the fresh flowers? No. Okay. Did we miss anything in the chat? Thank you, everybody. I know there's been a lot of activity here, so hopefully we'll be able to summarize some of this and send this out. Any questions? If anyone has any questions, you can raise your hand for Ushaji, Rupa, anyone else, just general questions.
Hariom. Thank you. This was a beautiful workshop and such creative ideas, both Rupaji and Ushaji. I do have a lot of my American colleagues and friends who I invite over, and I love having kids over. So one of the things I've always done is gifted them with our Why Do We books from Chinmaya Mission, or talking about there are such beautiful books on talking about Navratri. And it was so funny because just last night I got a picture from my Italian friend and her daughter who were reading that Navratri book before going to bed. So, and this was from 3 years ago, right? So, or 2 years ago. So I think books are also, especially if you have a lot at home, and we receive prasad pustikas, and sometimes the family receives 2 or 3 copies of the same book. So one of the places that I go during the holidays, and I have different kinds of gifts for different people. This year, what we're thinking doing is, because our girls are older and we all like doing crafts, so we're going to make handmade bags for them to use and take home, and just have fun food, laughter, but at the same time use your hands, and that'll be their take home thing. So books are another great gift, especially if we are used to the prasad pustika concept, and if we used to have a lot of these small books that we display and they take it home.
Lovely. Thank you so much for that. Hariom Deepaji.
Hariom, Zui had gifted me this bamboo toothbrush, and she also gave me this hand soap that you can kind of break and use the outer cover as fertilizer for the indoor plants. Zui, if you're still here, she would know more details. She's awesome at this. Thank you.
There are like a few companies that are now selling cleaners and things like that with the fertilizer. That's the packaging is. So you make from the concentrate, you're making the cleaner at home, but the fertilizer, is that the one, Deepa, you're talking about? Yeah. So a lot of great creative ways of, and I think Canada does it way better. A lot of companies in Canada compared to US. So uh, that was good. And in general, just I don't know, nature's gift, giving gifts. Been taking like a lot of my amaranth plant that grows quite a lot, and people are not used to using this vegetable, so they're excited. Oh, you just like stir fried like spinach and eat amaranth, and so that was another one too.
Thank you. Hariom Vanitaji.
I had a question for Rupa. She talked about the Rangoli kits and all of that. So what do you put in there and where do you get them from?
So I had a lot of laminate sheets, like old laminate sheets that that I had bought for something else a while back. So I actually made those myself. I cut out the shapes, because I don't know if these days in India you get a lot of these rangolis that people can just put together. These are just shapes with the sequins and the beads and all that. So since I saw that, instead of buying those, and I had these sheets, thicker sheets of laminates, I just cut out shapes and did it. And when I did the same thing at the library has tons of these laminate sheets that go waste because they use it anyway for their books and all that. So they use that, and they had their own whatever decorative things that they buy for the kids' crafts. So we use that to make them.
So it could be a good activity for the kids in Bal Vihar then, right?
Sure. Only thing, yeah, it is plastic, but because a lot of these libraries have it anyway,
Yeah.
so you can just, even go and ask them, and then you can cut out the shapes, and they like doing that, and they can create their own designs. So
Great. Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, thank you. Hariom, everyone. We're already down to 5 minutes left. So this hour went by very fast. So I do want to share a couple of things, just more logistics. One is that everyone here, I'm assuming, is part of a course we're starting this week. Courses, and if you've already enrolled in a course, we're asking everyone who's already part of Loving Earth to also enroll into Loving Earth. Once you log in, if you go to the cultures tab, you can choose Loving Earth and just enroll. And that way it'll be the same Zoom link every month. Now we won't have to do any kind of registration. And we'll also eventually be able to share our summaries and things like that there. So if you have any questions, we can take those maybe at the end when we're done, if anyone wants to stay on and has any questions about enrolling. The other thing that I'd like to share is, with Navratri coming up and the Golu, and we've talked about, expense and things like that. This time of year, every year, our community, we do the Elevate Her Story, which is supporting a charity specific for girls or women. And considers a portion of your efforts that you go towards your Golu, donating that to Elevate Her Story. You'll see poster coming out soon about that. So keep that in the back of your mind as well. Now I'd like to invite Zui to share something we're all very excited about. Our team is working on, and really hoping to see a lot of you join us this October. Hariom Zoe.
Yes, it's a extraordinary title for our upcoming retreat. And first Loving Earth retreat. And we have a lot of Connecticut seekers here. They're working so hard and smart. See, I'm using all Vivekji's words. So hard and smart to help us all really think about living lightly and thinking deeply. Like all of us want to do all these things, but sometimes what to do, and it becomes too much research to do and too much to figure out. So it's an opportunity for us to all come together and explore living lightly, and definitely connected to our own Vedanta or self-development. So please join us. Yes, thank you, Rita, for putting in the updates there.
Thank you, Zui. So again, if anyone has any further questions for our speakers or about enrolling into Loving Earth or even our retreat, feel free to stay on once we've concluded. And we'll look forward to also seeing you next month. Our next workshop will be the first Sunday in October, and you'll see that announcement come out soon. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.